I fucked it up, guys. Start again.
Unbelievable.
We're already streaming.
Yeah, like this is live.
Yeah.
Live on the internet.
Yeah. Live on the internet.
Alright. Look, that could happen again. I can't guarantee that it won't happen again.
Well, I don't want to be the one to say it, but I felt like that was titty cam.
All right.
First J-Rad, now Katie, what's happening?
This is, as
Welcome
always,
to the 3 Inch Nuggies.
we are off to an excellent start. So I'll run the intro, and we'll just go from there. So I'm going to run the intro now. All right, welcome everybody. Now, I won't lie, I am very far behind on this whole setup. I don't even have the music ready to go yet. Look, we made a decision a long time ago to do podcasts on a Sunday, and I'm really regretting that decision because I went out last night, and today's going to be a struggle, but I will push on. So
The show must go on.
the show must go on. So we've got some music in the background now. To that side, I can't figure out direction. I have Katie Risha. To the other side, I have Jarad333, and we're looking a little bit different in this podcast because down below us, we have our very special guest star, JustieMusty. Justy, welcome.
Hello.
Welcome, Justy.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, sweethearts.
Aw, so wholesome.
I know. So, on today's episode, we are talking generations. So, it's everything boomer to zoomer. And, you know what? We'll see how much we get to cover in the next hour. So, God, I'm going to struggle today. I apologize. All right, so...
Never apologize. Never.
Start doing
You
them
look
on
them
Saturday
dead in the
night.
eye, and you let it happen.
Yeah.
Get home from the bar, fucking just wrecked out of your mind, and just hit record. Just start streaming.
Yeah, look, I
Oh,
won't.
yeah.
I won't lie to you guys. After this, I may move the live podcast to Monday nights because this is a struggle. But we'll get through it. It's okay. We'll get through it. So, let's talk generations. So, there's a lot of stuff you can cover with this. Were you going to say something, Katie? No.
Did it look like that, did it?
Oh no, you just no. Okay. We are professionals.
The show must go on.
All right. So when I talk generations, obviously I'm talking about different periods in time. You know, we've got the silent generation followed by the baby boomers. Then there was Gen X, millennials, and now Generation Z. And a lot of things have changed throughout the years. And obviously technology and different things like that have changed that has influenced, I guess, cultural values. So let's keep it nice and broad. What I want to talk about to begin with is media. So media in the different generations. So, you know, if you think back into the 1930s and 40s, really what you had was newspapers versus today, you can see anything from anywhere with anyone with a smartphone. So I guess what I want to talk about is... Oh my God, I'm struggling, guys. So badly.
Get
So
it out!
bad.
You got it!
So
You got it!
hungover. All right. So, how do you think that technology and mainly technology influencing media has changed the world since, say, the Silent Generation, when World War One and Two were happening? I know it's a very broad question, but I'm going to start with Justie.
I wasn't actually. Oh, okay.
No, I can start with you
Special
if you want.
guest.
No, he's our special
No,
guest.
no. All I was gonna say was I wasn't alive in World War One. I can't speak for that.
Damn, dude, you weren't really? How young are you? What? You weren't around
Does
during World War One? Bro,
Does-
that's crazy.
I don't remember it. I could have been there. I don't know.
Oh my god. All right. For everybody joining, I swear, go back and watch the other episodes on YouTube. They are better than this because I am not hungover. And it's really hard to run this shit when I feel like death. But we're going to push through. So, J-Rad, did you learn about history in school?
Yeah, but I put that in the not needed section of my brain. That's a large chunk, by the way. I don't need to know anything.
All right, I'm going to try and flesh this out a little bit more so that you can talk about it. Fuck me.
No, that was just like a pre-comment to my actual comment. I don't even remember what the question was. What was the question?
How media influenced the world and stuff like that. Changed throughout the times.
All right, Justie, why don't you take this one?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I honestly think, like, I love it. Okay, let me phrase that. I hate social media. I really do. I only have social media now because I started streaming, and I needed to like promote and keep the 10 people who actually give a shit updated. And I don't know. Other than that, I hate it. I think it does nothing but like just fucks with everything because there's so many keyboard warriors out there. There's so many people who don't give a shit and just like say whatever they want to say. It's just kind of like it seems like a cancer to me, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I don't really know what words I'm looking for. I think it sucks, but I think it's fantastic at the same time because we get to do this shit. We couldn't do this shit fucking 20, 30 years ago. We couldn't do this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know, do this, they'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? And you'd be like, let's talk on the internet through a screen. They'd be like, no. Who are you? What are you doing?
You Trekkie, believing in that shit.
It's like, you fucking burn you at the stake, dude. Get the fuck out of here.
I actually agree with you completely. I fucking hate social media. But it's like, it's weird. It's created this whole new problem. So if you think back in the boomer generation, like newspapers were king, all right? That's where you get all your news, all your information, and whatever the news media outlets wanted you to know is what you would know, whether it be true or not. You know, now we live in a very different world where you can fact check and you can go through and you can find anything you want and you can usually find the truth. But what's compiled on top of that is all these fucking Karens that are jumping in with an opinion stated as fact. And so it's like, it's compounded in a different way where, yeah, now you can find the truth, but there's so much access to so much information. What actually is fucking true anymore? It's like you'd be experiencing it right now, Justie. So for those who don't know, Justie's from the US. And you guys are running through getting your vaccines. And I'm sure you've seen so many people go, oh, the vaccine's a tracking device, or it's going to kill you. Or, you know, I saw your TikTok, Justie, about, you know, people are like, oh, look, you can stick a magnet to it. It's full of metal. And just all this stupid shit that people read and then they go, oh, that's fact.
These people, and it's like, it's not even like they use like reputable sources or anything. It's like they're literally sources. They're sources. Trust me, bro. Just trust me. Like that's their source. They have nothing to back their shit up except for like a terribly photoshopped picture they saw on Facebook.
Yeah.
That's got big fonts and a skull in the background, and they're like, "Oh shit, the vaccine that's killing people." It killed 6 people out of 100 million? What? And then they just fucking, they spread that fear and they just do it. and they just spread false. It's bullshit. It's fucking stupid. But whatever. Yo, if the vaccine kills us, fuck it. Who cares?
Yeah, I think it will be fine.
Yeah, no, we'll be good.
It's
stupid.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what's interesting though is like media is so different now throughout the generations, but it's what has and hasn't been acceptable has changed quite a bit. And obviously that changes with society and as society changes. But if you look at, say, what you could put on television in the 1950s and 60s versus the 80s versus now, I feel like it's changed a lot. Like, and I guess it ties into a whole bunch of different stuff. But if you look at, how do I put this?
I have a fun fact while you think of that. So did you know the Flintstones was the first TV show to ever show a couple in bed? And the reason was because they weren't actually considered to be the same as human. So it was actually allowed to be put on TV because that wasn't allowed previously.
Sounds like a fake fact.
No, it's a real fact. He's right.
That's the terribly photoshopped picture you saw on Facebook.
Yeah, I shared it with Jehovah's, and that's how we both know that.
Yeah.
The source. Trust me, bro.
Yeah, and it's fact. I mean, Jared's auntie's hypnotherapist told her, so it must be true.
You heard it here first, guys.
Yeah. No, but
aunties.
Yeah, hypnotherapist. That's right. It's a legit source.
Okay.
So
I'm about it. You know what? Fuck it. I'm about it.
But
she calls herself a doctor, so I believe her.
But I mean that's it. Like if you look at say sex in the media, that probably didn't start getting okay until maybe the 1980s, 70s, 80s. Like prior to that, a girl could not expose her flesh at all. Like you couldn't, there was no sex. And then over the 90s, it probably went through a pretty hefty turn where, most television shows were softcore porn. And now the pendulum's starting to swing back the other way where we're going, stop over-sexualizing stuff.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Was
that a question?
I don't know.
Add your thoughts. Keep it going.
Yeah. Just keep talking at me. Jared, you should not have let me do this hungover. You should have been leading this one.
Are you sure you want that? Are you sure you want that?
Trade off right now. I want to see it. Let's see it. Trade off.
I love how we've been going for what, like 15 minutes now, and all Katie's done is look at this and shake her head. She's like, I have nothing to put into this train wreck. I don't want to be associated with it. I'm waiting for her to turn her camera off.
I honestly don't even know why I'm here.
What are your thoughts, Katie? What are your thoughts on media? Yep, there we go.
Yep.
That's her 2 cents. That's her 2 cents.
That's all I've got.
No, I think there's been a huge change, and it's I mean, who knows where it came from, but there was definitely a lot of things like what was it called, the women's movement or something like that, where it opened up a lot of doors for what people had for rights in general. But then you're exactly right, like the pendulum went a little bit too far. It's starting to swing back, and it's causing a lot of, I don't want to say problems, but people are getting upset for the wrong reason, is my thoughts on that.
I feel like that could go down a very deep rabbit hole that I'm way too hungover to explore. So,
moving right along.
Katie, where are you with the buzzer? You're meant to be helping us here.
What do you want me to buzz you? What do you want me to buzz you with?
It's just a gimmick at this point.
Yeah.
The first time she tried to show the buzzer, there was technical difficulties.
Oh yeah, yeah.
My
That's true.
She's probably scared to use it now.
I'm nervous.
It's magnetized. Be careful.
So,
All right.
I'm interested in your guys' thoughts on how you think the rules have changed over the years. And I guess what I mean by that is, so I know my parents' generation, and they're sort of, I'd say baby boomer generation. Like, there was no mobile phones. There was no checking up on kids. Kids would just go out and play, and it's like, be home by sundown. You know, versus, say, today's parents and their kids are wrapped in cotton wool and not allowed to go anywhere. Why do you think that's changed? Do you think it's because as a society we've changed, or do you think we've just become more aware of shit that happened, or...
I think it's the media.
You think it's the media?
Of course it's the media. People are more aware of, you know, the bad shit that could happen, so they are more protective.
Well, do you think more bad shit is happening now, or it's just
no.
easier to see the bad shit?
I think it's just easier to see the bad shit. I think bad shit's been happening forever. It's just now we're aware of it.
I literally don't know anything.
Nice.
You bring so much to the table.
Wow.
Wow. I guess I'll hop in that. That was really good, J-Rad.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you.
You bring so much to this podcast, Jared, and I'm so happy that we have you here. Keith, I saw Keith chatting before. Keith, we'll replace Jared with you if you want. Jump in right now.
Right now. But what I think is, because I remember when I was a kid, I used to have we didn't have a lot of money growing up, so like I was a kid who ran around with a pager. That's how my parents got a hold of me when I was out. That's when I knew I had to be home. So I had a pager. When I didn't have a pager, it was like you said a second ago. It was when the sun starts going down. Once your shadow is bigger than you, get to the house. That's how I always lived, and like now, like growing up and like seeing everything get more like soft and kind of like people get more protective and more like I don't know. I guess protective is the word I'm looking for and have already said. It's really weird because I don't know how to explain it. It's so weird growing up, like just kind of having freedom and being able to go out and not have to worry about anything, and then people like freaking out about little things now. And I guess they're not little, but like Katie said, fucking shit hasn't changed. Shit's still as crazy as it was 15 years ago. There's fucking no difference. But it's just that you see it everywhere now. So people are fucking like riddled with fear and they don't want anything to happen. Like I'm not going to do that with my kids. I'm not going to sit there and like fucking be overprotective and coddle them all the time and be like, oh, you got to be home by 4:00. Nah, go do some hood rat shit. Have fun.
You can say that, Justy. You can say that, and that's, you know, that's up to you. But then the society as a whole is going to look down on you and call you a bad parent.
I don't give a shit.
You're going against the grain. I'm not saying they're right at all, but that's going against the grain. That's going against today's parenting.
I don't care. I've got tattoos and I paint my nails and I'm a boy, so like it is what it is.
And you're a beautiful boy.
People already looking like that. Oh, shit.
Love it. I will add one caveat to that, and that's just that there's so much more to do inside now. Like we got video games, we got YouTube, all that stuff. Like, why would any kid want to leave the house when there's so much inside the house?
That's also true. My little brother, I love my little brother to death, but like from 13 to like 15, all he did was like stayed inside and played video games. And I didn't understand it because I played a lot of video games as a teenager too. I played way more now than I did, but I didn't understand it because I used to always go outside and like hang out with my friends and go skateboard and just like I said, go do hood rat shit. And then watching my brother grow up, I was like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Go get in trouble. Go do some shit. And he's like, nah, I'm gonna play video games. Call of Duty. What?
See, what? That is interesting though, because if you look at like Justy, we're pretty similar age, so you know, I'd be interested to know the difference between the US and Australia. But when I was growing up, like if I was lucky, sometimes my parents would go down to the like video store, like the Blockbuster, and hire a Super Nintendo for me to play on the weekend. But I'd like, there was no sitting at home playing video games. It was like, get outside and play, go get dirty, go get roughed up, go, throw rocks at shit and get into trouble. Whereas I feel like kids today are very different. They're just indoors all the time, and they don't go out and do the shit that we went out and did. But on the other side of that, and I'd love your opinion on this, Justie. When I was in, we call it grade 6, so it's the end of primary school, and moving into year 7, which that's the very start of high school for us, I was a kid, all right? I was like 13 years old. I loved my cartoons. I played with action figures, loved going out bike riding, I was skateboarding, doing that sort of shit. Whereas kids today, 13-year-old kids today, are not like we were when we were 13. Like, they're going out and fucking smoking and doing drugs and getting their fuck on. And
Get the buzzer.
I'm glad you cut out a lot there for me, J-Rad, because I think you were trying to censor me. And
You're censoring yourself.
And I won't be censored.
You were all cutting out there for a little bit.
Good technical issues. Okay, so my point
I can hear myself fine.
What? Oh my god. I'm going to mute him. Where is it? I'm going to mute Jared. Alright, so my point is, what the fuck happened? Why are kids getting younger and younger and doing the shit that they shouldn't be doing until they're 16, 17?
Yeah, I don't think it's that at all. I think like that shit was happening when we were kids too. It was, well, at least for me, like my friends were doing that. I wasn't personally. I didn't start doing that shit till I was like 16, 17. But like the people I hung out with, they did that shit, and I was like, y'all are fucking crazy. Like, what are y'all doing? But that's also because I lived in fucking sketchy parts of town too, so I don't know if that helps with anything. But yeah, shit. I hung out with some hoodlums, dude.
See,
so I don't know.
I don't know. See, I did too when I was younger, but 13 years old, we weren't doing that shit. 14, 15, 16, yeah. But not when you're like that. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's different. It's a different time. Maybe this is just me sounding old now, but I feel like even the way kids dress. The way I dressed when I was 13, I looked like a fucking idiot.
Oh, yeah, I think we all did.
But
you were the whole skater boy thing, weren't you?
Oh, look, I can't even remember. But I do remember I looked like an idiot. Whereas kids these days dress like they're 30-year-olds.
Yeah, fucking yeah. Well, that's I feel like that's a whole nother story though. That's like just how fashion has changed too. Yeah, I don't think that's really like a.
With that, I have noticed that emo is making a comeback.
That's because
fucking the roaring 20s, baby.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
Fashion tends to go in cycles, and what you'll find what's coming back through now is 90s and early 2000s, which is emo. But I'm all about that.
Yeah, I love that.
Can we just appreciate for a second how good-looking scene chicks are? I got the eye roll from Katie. That's what I was trying.
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
She didn't buzz though, so it wasn't that bad.
She didn't buzz, so it wasn't that bad. Oh, so what do you think the differences are today versus then? So what I'm talking about here is living the dream, right? So I know with my parents' generation, and especially my grandparents' generation, the dream was you buy a house, get a job, get married, not necessarily in that order, spit out 4 or 5 kids, and that's it, you've made it. Whereas, I know for me anyway, like I'm 30, am I doxing myself? I don't know. I'm mid-30s now. But kids are just not on my radar. Like, I look at the state of the world and I go, I don't know if I want to try and raise somebody in this weird and wonderful place. I know other people do, and absolutely supportive of that. But I don't think it's the same as it was 50 years ago, where that was it. That was the goal. Have children. You know, and like if I think about my parents, mum had me when she was 20, 21. Like it was have kids young. Whereas that seems to be getting later and later. What have you guys found? Jared, I know you've got a few kids out there. Do you know them?
No. Katie, why? Why are you buzzing me?
You know why?
I refuse to answer on the grounds that it may incinerate me.
Incinerate?
That's what my lawyer said to say.
He's gonna catch fire.
Just spontaneously combusts when he talks about his children. All right, so Jared doesn't really have any children that he knows of. And
Yeah,
I'm sorry, guys. I know I'm usually the glue that holds this together, but I'm very rough at the moment. So I'm struggling. Justy, I promise we'll have you back on a podcast when I'm not so hungover and you can experience a good one.
Yo, I'm having a blast.
But what's it like in the US, Justy? Like, is that still, you know, the American dream? Get married, buy a house, have kids? Like what is it?
Nah, dude. I've got a lot of my friends now, like a lot of my circles, they're like married and have kids and stuff. But those are just the people I hang out with. A lot of people that I know personally, if they don't want kids, like our generation don't fuck kids, man. Not, me, I want kids. I want kids so bad. I'm gonna have kids. That's being Courtney's plan. But like a majority of the people that I know, nah, that's it's just because everything's just like you said, everything's so fucked. They don't want to bring anything in it, and on top of that, everything's so expensive and it's so hard to live now. And like just having 2 people in your house already, you're scraping by. It's rough. So like adding on to that, and then just giving like more stress onto somebody who didn't ask for it. It's kind of a thing that like people are like, oh, no, thank you. I'll pass. Goodbye.
That makes sense.
But
I did see something in the chat which was a really good point. Honcho is saying, why not raise a child, instill the values you hold true to try and make this doomed rock a better place? I think it's a very valid point.
It is a really good point. I think for me, and I can only talk for my opinion, I guess my problem I have with that is you can, but it's just so hard to fight against society. And I don't think in this current time society's quite got it right. I think we're scrambling to try and fix shit that our parents and our grandparents got really wrong. But we're not doing it the right way. We're going way too far. We're creating a world of people who get offended at the slightest thing rather than concentrating on the actual problems that exist. And
Can I
I'll agree.
Just come in just for a second. Jehovah?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. I know we've got
That
this
was
big
cute.
problem. I know we got this big problem with, this generation being so full of emotions and stuff, and that's something that's hard for us to handle. We don't. Let me try and figure this out. Okay, so the problem is, we grew up with the dust it off, you'll be right gene. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe the problem is we don't know how to feel emotions because we were raised being, oh, you'll be right, suck it up,
Yeah.
which is also not okay. So then we've gone, I don't know what I'm saying. I do know what I'm saying. Help.
Deep breaths, Wusak. You got it.
No, I get what you're saying. Like, our generation grew up on the idea of you just suck it up. That's just how life is.
Not just our generations, all the generations before us too. It was just like, but it was like, it got a little less as the generations went on.
I think I get exactly what you're saying. I think it's hard because if you look at my parents' generation, all their parents' generation, it was boys don't have feelings. They don't. Boys don't cry. Boys, that's a girl thing to do, which is wrong, but that's how it was. You look at our generation, that started to change. And it started to be, okay, well, you can have feelings, but come on, get up, dust yourself off. It's going to be okay. And now I think we've swung so far with, recognition of mental health and all that, which is all good things, but we've swung into this area where the need to validate someone's feelings is more important than anything else. And in some situations, it's just not. Everybody has feelings, and I get it, and you're entitled to those feelings, but your feelings are not more important than somebody else's.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Never. Sorry. Go.
Justy, you go after Katie.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Oh shit.
Are you buzzering yourself, Katie?
Justy, what do you feel about that?
Shit. I forgot. Let me. Look at me. I'm all scrambled now. Look at this.
Who thought that would happen?
Look at this. I thought I was prepared. No, I'm not. Shit. What was I gonna say? I really, dude.
So that whole
Broken,
attitude of
sorry.
like if you get a scrape, you just suck it up. Like, is that something that you dealt with when you were growing up?
I get, man. Yeah, and no. At the same time, I grew up in like a really weird household. Like, I love my parents to death, but it was like real. It was real fucking weird. I'm not gonna get into it, but kind of. I was real supported, and at the same time, it was real like, don't be a pussy. And cause that's what she was saying. It's like you grow up with everyone telling you like, dust it off. If you fucking show any emotions, if you show any weakness at all, you're a pussy. Figure it out. You've got it. If you ask for help, you're weak. But at the same time, everyone's like, oh, ask for help. But then you ask for help and people look at you like you're fucking stupid. Like, it's a huge mess. And I don't know. It's tough. It's a tough thing to kind of deal with because now we've got our whole generation that's pushed. They got all this shit like bottled up in their head, like pushed up, and it's fucked up. And like I should probably go to therapy, but I'm not gonna go to therapy. Okay, it's not gonna happen. I'm not doing it.
Alcohol's cheaper.
That's alcohol. No, not anymore. But like it's the thing now. It's like we're all like, yeah, we should probably go to therapy, and more than half of us are like, no, because of shit that was like dug into our brain when we were kids. And it's like, and we are aware that we need help, and we're aware that all this shit's going on. But at the same time, in the back of our head, we're like, don't be a pussy. And that's fucked up. And that's what the media does.
See,
I just want to give you a hug.
I think the hard thing
But that's what I was saying. Shut up, Jehovah.
Jesus.
Take that.
But that's what I was saying before, is like our generation. I mean, how many people do you guys know that have some kind of mental health problem, whether it be anxiety or depression? Because we've grown up bottling everything up, and we can't talk to anybody about it because everybody goes, suck it up, whatever. We're broken. Now we're broken. And so we're over coddling the younger generation because we're like, fuck, we don't want them to end up like us. Let's talk about all the feelings, but we're not equipped to deal with the feelings because we've been told to suck it up our whole lives. The system is broken. That's what I'm saying.
But I feel like it's swung too far the opposite way now with this latest generation of kids where, if they're taught that if your feelings aren't validated and if you feel sad about something, you don't have to give a fuck about anyone else because you feel sad, and you can just stew in that and let that. And that's not the right way to do things either. Like, I agree, we shouldn't be ignoring our feelings, and a lot of problems have come from that where, there is a hell of a lot more anxiety and depression, things like that in the world now, or maybe it's just better recognized and people are more open to talk about it. But I worry that the kids of today, it's gone too far with it. Like, I see these kids come into the workplace, right? We get trainees and stuff in where I work. And these 18-year-olds that come in and they go, oh, I've shown up on time for work. Tell me how great I am. And I'm not going to tell you how great you are for showing up. You don't get a ribbon for participating. If you actually do a good job, of course I'll fucking praise you. And if you're struggling, of course I want to hear about it and I want to help you. But I'm not going to give you a medal just because you fucking showed up. We all showed up. I'm still going to be hungover tomorrow and show up, and I don't want to. But I will, and I don't expect a medal for it. You know, I think we've gone too far in the people's feelings should be validated 100%, and people are allowed to feel what they feel, and they should be able to voice that. But as I said, that doesn't make you special. Everybody has feelings, and your feelings are not more important than anyone else's.
I agree with that, and I kind of like disagree because I'm like, the way I look at it. Well, I don't know if I disagree. I'll just explain it.
Go. You talk.
Yeah, go
So-
for it.
So I think about it as like I love you guys. I love all my friends. I love everybody around. But in the end, I'm number one. Like, I'm taking care of myself before I take care of anybody else. All me.
Facts.
So like if you're sad and I'm sad, yeah, sure, I'm gonna talk to you and I'm gonna help you out. But in the end, my sadness comes first for me. Like, I'm fixing myself before I try and fix anybody else. That's kind of what I wanted to throw into that.
I think
like that.
I think though my problem comes from Justy, and I agree with you 100% with what you just said. My problem comes from this generation that are going, "Oh, you're sad. I don't care because I have my own problems." Whereas what you just said was spot on. It's like, look, I need to look after myself, but I'll help you where I can. But this generation is, you know, I don't give a fuck about your feelings because my feelings are important.
Yeah.
And the problem is that's generating a bunch of entitled little cunts that go, you know, you need to sit there and rub my balls and make me feel amazing every single day. Otherwise, you're a terrible person. And it's like, no, I don't. You need to be comfortable within yourself. I don't need to stroke your ego. You need to stroke your own ego and get good with you.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah, I got nothing to add to that. That was so well explained.
I don't
Good
know.
job.
I don't know how I did that. I'm so I feel so rubbish right now.
No, I think it was good. Like, I honestly have nothing to add to that because I was just like, yep, that's exactly how I think as well.
I think it's interesting too if we look at like generational differences. I think there's a big difference in values. Like, if we go right through the span of the last 100 years, where, you know, so we had the silent generation, then the boomers, Gen X, millennials, Gen Z. And each generation has had its own set of values that I think has changed, and some for good, some for bad. I guess, like, look at religion. Look at the importance of religion in, say, the baby boomer generation. So 1950s and 60s, and how important religion was versus today. There was a buzzer. Did you have something
I just
to
wanted
say?
to make sure. Yeah, do you want to go down this rabbit hole? I
Yeah,
just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I think we do.
All right.
Look, I'm not offending anyone yet, so let's see how we go.
The night's young.
Oh, we can
Sorry,
get there
I got-
real fast.
Yeah.
I got a lot of stuff I can talk about.
Well, I mean, look, for me, right? And so I come from, my mum is an Italian, so, you know, strong Italian Catholic family. I was baptized as a child, but if I look at, say, my nonna, so my mum's generation, going to church and being a part of religion, that was really, really, really important. Less so with mum's generation. Like, with us, she was like, look, you believe what you want to believe. I won't tell you have to believe anything. Now, of course, we were baptized, but it was sort of you believe what you want. And then come to my generation, and I know, and put it this way, everyone I know, there's nobody I know and that I'm friends with that really holds religion in high regard and would hold religion over anything else. But of course, there are still people like that out there. I just don't think it's as many as there were in our parents' or grandparents' generation. I feel like Justie's got lots to say.
Oh God, dude! If I start talking, it's gonna go on all night. I swear. No, I feel that though, because my grandmother was like shoved that shit down my throat, dude. And I lived with her for a while, so that was like all that was around. And now I'm like, bye. I don't give a fuck about any of that. But like, I grew up around it. I grew up going to church. Grew up Jesus, all that, and now it's just like, I don't know. In like our generation, a lot of them are like that, but then again, it's probably like half are like that, and the other half are still pretty religious. And I feel like that's not going to change. I don't think that's ever going to change, honestly. But it is what it is. I don't care.
Katie, Jared, what do you think?
I think I'll add to that. Like, I was actually extremely lucky growing up, as my parents gave me complete freedom to decide if that was what I wanted or not, and they didn't even try and push any agenda or say like, oh, this is what we are, so you have to be as well. It was literally, I remember there was a day where we were filling out the census, and I was still underage, so the parents actually fill it out for the kids. My dad came up to me and he was like, I'm filling this out. Are you religious? Like, what's your religion? And I thought that was actually a really good experience for me, having that freedom.
I think that's something that's different now, and it started in our generation, and is very prevalent in Gen Z, where there's not a big importance on religion. And I say that as a generalization. Of course, there are factions and different, people where it is important, and it's probably different in different countries as well. But I know in Australia, at least, it's definitely not as important as it used to be to have a religion or follow a certain teaching. Yes, Katie.
Hi. I actually think a lot of people I grew up with, I went to a Catholic private school. So that was a thing that I did. And I'm pretty sure at least 50% of the school was only baptized so they could get into a Catholic private school. And that's all I've got to say.
I feel like every non-religious person, super non-religious person, went to a private school, because I went to one too. I'm looking back at it, I was like, that shit was crazy. Why did I go there? I went there for 1 year, and I was like just a tiny wee little thing. And I don't know, I think it was like pre-K or kindergarten. But I'm thinking about it, I'm like, what the fuck were my parents thinking? Because my mom has never been religious. And my dad, he was, but he's not really anymore. But at the same time, why? Why'd y'all take me? We didn't have money. How did you afford that?
I was in the same boat, Justy. So I went to a private Catholic school, and my parents were not religious in the slightest. They were mum from an Italian background sort of was brought up to be, but then decided, she's got her beliefs and she's not going to push them on anyone else. My dad spent a lot of time searching for religion and deciding what he wanted to believe, and spent a lot of time researching all different religions. We could do a whole series of podcasts on my dad. We might do that, but we mainly me and my siblings went to the private Catholic school because it was about education. It wasn't about religion. And that was one of the better ones for education. But same thing. My parents never had a lot of money, and they were they were paying that off for years. Because it's expensive. School's expensive as shit.
Yeah.
That's actually, I'd like to bring that up as a point. All of us, we went to private schools. Our parents' generation believed the only way to get ahead in life was to get a really, really good education. But
look at us, private school people.
Oh, I know. You
that
wouldn't
worked
think
out
it.
well, didn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly, and that's my whole point.
Good
That's
job,
my
parents.
whole point. That was what they believed as a generation, that their kids had to have the best education or they were never going to get anywhere in life. And now we've got tradies that are earning triple what college people, what do you call them? I don't know the words.
College graduates or college?
Yeah, that one. Who are struggling to get a job at all.
Yeah.
You know what though? It's so in Australia, there was always a push, and this is from the boomer generation. It was a push to go out and get a trade, right? Go get a trade, become an electrician, become a plumber, become a builder, because Australia was built on trades and mining, basically, and getting our resources out there and the whole industrial boom. Whereas now, And I feel our generation was the one that got lost in the mix. There was a switch where it went from, okay, trades and building is good, but we're now moving into the age of technology where we can build shit to do that for us. We have the internet. You can hire somebody in another part of the world and just chat to them over Skype. And it completely blew up the whole theory that, you know, you need to learn a trade and get it done here. Like, it moved to more of a computer skills, app building, those sorts of smarts were way more valuable. And I believe our generation, the millennial generation, got lost in that because we were still being told, get a trade, go out, do work, hard labor, that's how you make a lot of money. But the world had already changed and school hadn't caught up yet. School's now caught up, now they're teaching computer sciences and all sorts of shit. But I remember I took IT in high school and it was literally just how the fuck do you use Microsoft Word? It was nothing of use.
Yeah. Same.
How is it in the US, Justy? Is that like, what did they teach you in school?
They taught me Christopher Columbus was a good guy. The Pythagorean theorem, which I don't even remember.
Yep. We got taught about triangles too.
I had a bullshit economics class, which all we did in that class was watch Dave Ramsey videos. I don't know if y'all know who Dave Ramsey is, but apparently he is he's a financial genius. He says don't have credit cards, and always, no matter what you do, no matter how much money you have, always have $1,000 in your savings account for a safety fund. Like, all right, motherfucker, how am I $1,000 if I'm broke? That's fuck stupid. But no, really, everything I learned in school I don't use.
Yeah.
Like at all, ever. And I went to college for like literally a month. And I only went to college because the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. We learned that
I remember that too.
Yeah.
We learned that. But no, I went to college because like you said earlier, like you said in Australia, it's like trades and stuff. Like that's like the thing to go do.
Yeah.
But here it's like go to college, get a good job. But like in the end, you go to college, you don't really get that job because demand's so high, or nobody gives a shit about your college education anymore. Like nobody cares.
Well,
if you've got experience, that's what it is. If you got the experience, then you got it. If a dude walks in with 10 years of experience in this field and he knows what he's doing, and then a freshly graduated college student comes out that he went to school for this, who are they going to take? They're going to take the dude who's been doing it. They don't give a shit about that degree.
100%, man. I don't hold much value in school education. Look, let me preface that. I think if you want to be a doctor, or you want to be an astronaut, or you want to do something like that, you need to go to school. You need to learn the practical theory. But put it this way, I work in management. I have got over 10 years experience in, leading people and leading businesses, and I can get a job like that doing this shit, and a well-paying job, and I've never been to college or university. And because I learned all my shit on the job, and I've done courses throughout my career and learnt stuff, but I never went to college, or we call it university, to do any of that. But I feel like there used to be a big trend of you need to go to college to learn and then you'll get a job. Whereas now it's not what you know, it's who you know. If you can get a foot in the door and you can get some experience, you will always be better off than somebody with a degree.
I'm a high school dropout and I teach children. So
Oh, how the
that's an
turntables.
example.
Something about turntables turning.
But yeah, like it's true though. Like I was pretty much like forced to go to college. I didn't want to go. I wanted to take a year off of school and get a job and kind of like save up some money, and then maybe go to college if I felt like going, if I figured out what I wanted to do. Because I used to in high school, I got really good at web design and graphic design, and I loved it. But then I realized that the demand for both of these fields was so high. Everybody wants to do it. Everybody wants to design websites. Everybody wants to like make pictures for people. Everybody wants to do it. And nowadays, especially, you can fucking open an app on your phone and make a website, no problem. Like, you don't have to have any experience doing it. I got so good at it. And I was like, I want to go to school for this. Then I decided I didn't want to go to school for that. I didn't know what I wanted to go for. And my parents were like, yo, you got to go. I was like, no, I don't. And they're like, oh, yeah, you do. Yeah, you're not going to live here if you don't. I was like, oh, fuck, I'll go to college then. So I went and I dropped out a month later. Fucking hated it. It was terrible. Like, it's the stigma to like go and make your life better with college is so stupid, and I wish that would die. Like, I wish that whole thing would die because it's such a lie. It's so stupid.
It's so interesting for us looking at the US though, because you guys have like colleges where you go away and you've got these Ivy League, and you know, you go and there's dorm rooms and there's parties and like that's what you do. That's what we see on TV anyway. That's, you know, you finish high school, you go to college. If you don't do that, then you're never going to get out of that one horse town that you live in. Like that's the whole mantra of US TV that we see.
Yeah,
it's so different here in Australia. It's so different. Like university's a thing, but we don't have Ivy League. It's sort of like pick the course you want to get into, pick a university that's close enough that you can still live at home.
Yeah.
Like it's such a different world. I wish though, and not because I like school at all, but I wish we had the college experience, just because I see, you know, beer pong championships and partying and all that cool shit. And I'm like, we don't get that here.
I went to a community college.
What?
Like, is that all TV though? Like, does that actually happen in America?
I don't know. I went to community college, so I pretty much went to a glorified high school. So it was pretty much high school, I guess. There were no dorms or anything. People just went there and then went home when they got done. But like, I don't know. I don't fucking know. Maybe.
See, I
know.
The whole thing is so interesting for me because it's like you know how you guys have like, you know, Harvard and these top tier schools that, you know, you got to be real smart to get into. We just don't have shit like that.
I don't think you should. I don't think anybody should.
Well, I mean, my parents were great. My parents were like, look, you can go to university or you can get a job. You can't just sit at home doing nothing. You need to do something. But they never forced me to do school or do, like, they were like, you can't just sit around while we pay for you to do nothing. Go out and do something. But we don't care what it is you do. Do whatever you want to do, which was awesome for me. So I did one semester of college or uni and then dropped out. Same thing. I spent more time at the pub than I did in classes. And then went and got a job. That was it.
Yeah, which sounds good. That's how it should be. That's exactly how it should be.
Topic, Jehovah.
What?
Stay on the topic.
What's the topic?
No, let's get more derailed.
I feel like it is the topic though, because it's you know what?
Justin needs his own buzzer.
Yeah.
I'll go all out. If y'all want me to get a buzzer, I'll buy one on Amazon. A loud one.
Get a buzzer.
So looking at the generation, one thing I find really, really interesting, right? So you've got Karens today. We all know what a Karen is, yeah? Yep. All right. I see nods. I'm gonna go with yes. The interesting thing for me is Karens came from Generation X.
This one? No, this one right there.
I don't know where you're pointing. To J-Rad?
I'm pointing it.
It's very delayed.
Yeah. So
Why are you pointing at me? I can point at you.
Aaron.
Wait. No, it's the wrong way.
That's what I did. I had to make sure I was
so complicated.
Why are we all pointing at each other? This is...
I don't know.
Well, I was pointing at J-Rad saying he was a Karen.
I literally don't care about anything. You can't call me a Karen.
I just did.
You can't.
I just did though.
But you can't.
But I did.
It's illegal. I'm calling the cops.
All right, I'm getting us back on topic. So, I find it really interesting that Karens come from Generation X, right? So that's the age group that are today's Karens. But Generation X came from a place of not giving a fuck, going against the establishment. They listened to grunge, they listened to shit like Nirvana. They were like, fuck this place. We don't need to listen to the man. I don't need to do this or do that. And now they're like, where's your fucking manager? How did that turn? Where did that turn? Where they went from, being the cool generation of fuck this shit. I'm not going to listen to you, to demanding the manager and having this sense of fucking entitlement.
I don't think it was the grunge ones, man. I think it was just the ones that came from like the super strict and like religious and like fucking got all my ducks in a row families, I don't think, because that's always what it seems to be like. Because it always seems like the Karens are the ones with the asshole kids. If there's an asshole kid, their mom's a Karen. I feel like that's how it always is.
Yeah. That's fair.
Because I can tell you right now, if I see someone who's like, yeah, Rage Against the Machine's my favorite band, and then they're like, where's the manager? I'm going to be like, I want to punch you in the mouth.
I had last night, I had a male Karen behind me when I went to the Bottle-O.
Ooh,
Yeah, so there was a long line, right? There's about 10 people waiting in line. And there was a dude serving, and then there was this girl who was like working on the register thing but wasn't serving people. And had to wait about 5 minutes to get served, and it's like, okay, well, whatever, I'm buying my beers, I'm getting out of here. And then 2 people behind me, this guy was like, excuse me, I want to speak to your manager. Why aren't you serving? And the girl goes, look, sorry, I'm actually putting through the order for next week to make sure that we've got stock. I can't serve and do that because I've got to make sure I get it right. And he just went off. He's like, I don't want to hear it. Oh, get your manager. Where's your manager? I need to speak to them right now. I'm like, what the fuck?
I really wanted his booze.
Entitled
Jesus.
cunt. Like, I fear, and I think, Justy, you're right, that these parents are passing on that entitledness to their children. And we've now got these Gen Zs who are so entitled. They think everything should be handed to them on a silver platter. And I don't know. I don't know what to do with it. It's part of the reason I don't want kids. They shit me. They shit me.
Man, if you think you got a problem now, you just wait until these current 5-year-olds hit the workforce. That's all I'm gonna say. You don't know what's coming. I know what's coming. You don't know what's coming.
Oh shit.
It's no good. That's all I'm gonna say.
I work in go.
No, you go.
I'd say I work in I do residential construction, so I like wire houses and shit. And we do like some big houses, like some neighborhoods that are like just strictly like $1 million homes and stuff. Some of these people I meet, man, are fucking insane. Like I had one lady, I had to go there to like add a wire to her door and move a camera. Dude, she was so fucking mean to me for no reason. She was mean to me because she was mad at my company. And I was like, why? Why are you taking that on me? And she was like, well, your company sucks, blah, blah, blah. You need to get your shit straight. And I was like, I got nothing to do with this, lady. I'm like, why are you yelling at me? She's like, I need your boss's number. And I was like, you literally talked to my boss yesterday. You have his number. I'm doing my job. You asked me to come out here and do this shit. Why are you treating me like shit? And so I like went outside to like got the builder and I was like, yo, you gotta tell this lady to chill the fuck out or I'm walking. I was like, I'm leaving if you don't like talk to her. And he did, and she was still mean to me. I don't understand it. I don't get it.
I don't know. It's that
man.
real sense of entitlement, and I don't understand where it comes from. As you said, I think you're right. I think it's the parents, but I feel like it's sort of skipped our generation. So you've got the Gen X and the Karens that have it, and you've got these new Gen Zs that have it. Some millennials And you know what? Talking about millennials, I feel like they're split into two camps. You've got some that are like us, right? We go out, we work hard, we don't expect anything for free. And then you've got the ones that are blending into the current Gen Z where they expect everything to be handed to them and life should just be easy. And, you know, we won't get into doxing anyone, but J-Rad, we've spoken before about many people we know that just expect a job to give them a 6-figure salary and they only need to work 5 hours a day, you know? And whereas, you know, Justy, I'm sure you're like us, you go out, you bust your ass at your job and you're happy with the paycheck you get. And we wish we had more, but that we know you need to work hard for $1. Whereas I feel like these kids just don't act like that. That work ethic is gone. But I think our work ethic is very different from our grandparents' work ethic, where they would work 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, and that was the norm. Whereas, like, for me, honestly, you take away my weekend, you better be paying me fucking penalty rates, because that's my weekend. So am I entitled in their eyes? Discuss.
That's a very valid point. I sometimes forget that it was only a couple of generations ago that they were literally just working. They were 7-day work week. That was just all they did. Nothing else.
Mind you, though, what shits me though is the difference in the generations and the difference in price. And Justy, you touched on it before with how shit expensive is now. I don't know if that made sense. English. Moving on.
It was a sentence.
It was a sentence.
It's swapped around.
Yeah. But
we got it.
What I'm saying is, like, I look at, say, my grandparents' generation, or even some of our parents that were like, well, I went out and I bought a house and I worked 6 days a week and had it paid off in 3 years. And you go, cool, yeah, you work 6 days a week and earn $800 a week, but you only paid $10,000 for your house. So you could pay it off in 3 years. Whereas I've bought a house and it cost me $500,000 and it's not a great house. You know, don't get me wrong, I love my house, it's nice, but $500,000, like, that's a lot of money. It's going to take me 30 years to pay that shit off, even if I did work Saturdays.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it was a different world, and that baby boomer generation truly believes that we just don't work hard, but won't acknowledge the fact that it's harder for us to get shit done. And I wonder if we're looking through the same sort of glass when we look at these Gen Zs and go, you're not working hard enough.
Nah, the boomers fucked us all, man.
Yeah, they did.
So, like...
you just straight up, we try and be subtle here, but
fuck it, nah, I'm not. Fuck it, no, y'all fucked us. Y'all fucked us, dude. Here's the thing, like, I would love fucking handouts. I would love handouts. if you have an opportunity to get handouts, fucking take them. Fucking take them, dude. And I kind of want to go back to there was a comment about people like living off the government unemployment in the US and stuff, and like there is a lot of that, but I also think I don't think it's that either. I think what's happened is that a lot of people don't want to go get jobs, and people are having problem hiring people because during the pandemic, everybody has, like, not everybody, but like a majority of these people have found side hustles. They found other things that they like to do. They've become entrepreneurs. They've gotten into real estate, they've gotten onto online, they've gotten into whatever they want to do that doesn't involve a W-4, that doesn't involve having to leave the house or go do any of that. I think that's why a lot of places are having trouble hiring people now, because they found some shit that they enjoy other than going and slaving and being miserable all day.
I will agree with that 100%.
Yep, I agree with it, because it was the same thing here in Australia. So they brought out a thing called JobKeeper, where what JobKeeper was if you were stood down from work because of the pandemic and because of the lockdown, you weren't actually fired. The government would pay you $1,500 a fortnight, basically as if it was like welfare. But you keep your job, and at the end of it, you can go back. They also had Job Seeker, which they brought up to $1,500 a fortnight as well, so that if you didn't have a job, you could stay on that. And a lot of people, it was hard to fill jobs because people were sitting at home getting paid way more than they ever had to sit at home. But I think you're spot on, Justy. I don't think that's a laziness thing. I think it's people were discovering new and fun ways to do the shit that they loved. Stuff like Twitch, right? and they're like, fuck, I want to try and kick this off and get this started and do this as a career. And if I can sit at home and get paid while I do that, why the fuck would I go out and slave at a cafe?
Exactly. Like I've got so many friends who started like Etsy shops and like started selling things that they're making and they're making good money. I've got so many friends that are making like amazing money on like OnlyFans and shit. Like so many people have found these side hustles and it's working for them. Let it work for them. They're making their bag. Who cares? Who cares how they make it? Fuck those corporations. Fuck all those people who are struggling hiring people. Fucking pay more. Who cares?
Yeah.
Sucks for you guys.
Yeah, that's the whole reason we start. Oh shit! That's the whole reason we started Twitch. That thing is in a precarious position. That's the whole reason we started Twitch. Like we were just stuck at home, so we were like, seems fun, and we're having the time of our lives. We wish we could do it full time.
Yeah.
I think that's the goal for all of us right now.
Oh, I mean,
we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it.
I don't even need to be rich. Like I don't need to be a millionaire. I don't need to be, fucking PewDiePie. I would just be happy if I could make enough money off Twitch to quit my day job and like just do this, just stream and chat with you guys all the time. That would be amazing for me. All right, so
I need $1 million, dude. I'm sorry. I need all the money.
Look, don't get me wrong. If I could do this,
give me all the money.
If I could do this,
Justy, start a GoFundMe.
If I could do this from a yacht, I would. But I don't have to. So, I'm going to start to wrap us up, and Justy, it's episode 4. It's now become tradition that I ask a couple of questions of each of you as I'm wrapping up, just to get like a final opinion piece. So, I'm going to start with you, Justy, because you're our guest star, and thank you for coming on. You've been brilliant today. You've helped me get through this hangover, helped me survive this podcast, and I love you so much.
Thanks for I was really excited when y'all asked me to do it.
Are you
still excited?
Huh?
Are you still
excited?
Oh, I'm still so excited. I wish this could go on all night, honestly.
Well, Justy, you are welcome back anytime, as are any of the daddies, except Keith, because he seems a bit needy in the chat, just asking to be there. So. We love you, Keith. All right, so I'm going to ask some questions. Justy, I'm going to start with you because you're our guest star. So what I want to know is, what do you think the absolute best thing and the absolute worst thing to come out of any of the generations of the past 50, 60 years? So I'm talking boomer through to zoomer. What do you reckon the best thing to come out of any of those generations has been, and the worst thing?
Okay. The worst thing, those kids who make those videos like, hey, oh, jeez. Fuck those kids. If you're one of those kids, fuck you. And the best thing, shit. What is the best thing? There's a lot of really good things. Like porn. Porn's gotta be the best thing.
I love it. All right, Jared, same questions. Best thing and worst thing.
So is this like specifically within like 50 years?
No, I mean, look, go as far back as you want.
Well, I'm just thinking like I feel like in more recent times the divide between generations is getting worse. And that's a bad thing. Like I remember our parents' generation, it was big for them to hang out with their family, and then like for me personally, I've noticed that like I don't really hang out with my family as much as we used to for my parents' generation. So I feel like in more recent times, that's a bad thing that's come out of it. There's a bit more of a divide. Good thing, I don't know. I'm having trouble answering that one. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I think we'll just move on from me.
All right.
That's why I said porn.
Yeah.
What?
What do you think the best thing and worst thing to come out of any of the generations in the last 50 years has been?
That's a really hard question.
It is. I finish on a hard question.
Hang on. So the best thing and the worst thing to come out of any generation.
Yeah.
So Best. This is hard, and my brain's like not coping with this right now. And I had so much time to think about it. I think the best thing to come out of generation would be porn. No,
I told you.
no, I think I don't really know how to word it, but I just feel like I think, especially with like this generation, like we're more. I don't want to say awake, but you know, canceling racism and shit is basically where I'm trying to get to.
Wait,
get
as a
it?
good thing or a bad thing?
It's a
Yeah,
good
you should
thing.
probably.
Okay.
A good thing, yeah. Obviously, it's a good thing.
Okay, I just wanted
Obviously,
to
it's a good thing.
wanted to be clear.
Expected J-Rad to go, yeah, but fuck that.
All right.
Obviously a good thing. And the worst thing to come out of a generation is probably, like I said, I think, you know, throughout the generations it's been, you know, suck it up, toughen up, boys don't have feelings, all that shit. And I think that's a shitty thing to come out of generations, because I think it's caused a lot of mental health problems and that shit.
Yep.
Yeah. That's where I'm at.
All right. Well, if I do mine, I'd say I think the best thing to come out of a generation has actually been, with our generation, the recognition of mental health and people's needs, and that, you know, we do need to care about how people feel, and saying get up and dust it off is not always the right way to do it. And you know my opinions on it, I spoke about it before, but I do think that is the best thing. And with that, yeah, so Lance has said in the chat, and I agree, it's having men open up and share their feelings more has been a really good thing. I think the worst thing to come out of any generation is probably on the other side of that coin, the sense of entitlement that comes with telling everybody they're special. So when you tell everyone they're special and everyone gets a ribbon for participating, they all think they're a unique, amazing being, and that's all they need to carry them through life, and they get a very rude shock when they walk into the real world. And I think it's difficult. We need to be teaching kids more about what the real world is like the sheer fact that kids these days actually have to go to courses to learn how to interact with people in the workplace, because they only ever interact with people through a mobile phone. You know, I think I'm all for caring about people's feelings, but at the same time, people need to live in the real world and understand how it works.
Nice.
I feel attacked.
I feel attacked from Keith. I don't know if you guys are watching the chat, but he's just got it out.
I am. He's so upset.
He's so upset because I brought Justie on before him.
Get fucked, Keith!
All right, guys, this has been a lot of fun.
Can I just quickly say, just really quickly, that if you're a man and you're watching this, it's okay to feel feelings and it's okay to talk about them. That's just what I want to say. And if the women of the world, we care about you, and the ones that don't aren't worth your time. That's it. I'm done now.
I care about women too.
Well said, Katie.
Thanks.
All right. I am going to tie this up now. So we've got Katie Risha, Jared333, and our amazing, beautiful, gorgeous special guest, JustieMusty. Thank you for being with us today, Justie. It has been a blast.
Thanks for having me.
I'm going to play the outro. Does anyone have any last words before we finish up?
I also want to thank Justie for coming along with us today and putting up with our bullshit.
Hey, I had a blast. Y'all think it was a rocky road, but man, did I have fun.
Hell
I
yeah.
am really hungover.
Yeah.
I'm not coping.
No, I'm not either. After this, I'm going to go get a drink of water and pass out. I feel awful. But, alright, I'm going to play the outro. I love you all, guys. Remember, the podcast will be up on YouTube on Friday. Go check out the last 3 episodes if you haven't yet. We love all of you. Thanks again, Justie. Play the outro. Bye, all. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
You. I love
Bye.
you.
Bye.